Oh, hey guys! Today we're gonna do a Windows 10 installation for a slightly older model Dell Inspiron, and the model here, as you can see in the screen, it's a Dell Inspiron 13-7352. And I notice even online, there's a lot of people are actually having issues because once they had a defective hard drive, then they're putting in a brand new one, and then once they power it on there, they're getting a non-bootable device detected or no bootable device detected. So it's basically trying to tell you that it doesn't detect a hard drive. So there's a few things that you actually have to do to get your hard drive to get it detected in this model here. So what I'll do is I'll step you guys through and how to get it done and get the Windows installation done. Also through this way here, where you don't need to do any go into Dell's website or download additional drivers or anything. I'll show you actually how you can get the whole all of the drivers installed for your motherboard at the end of this video, so that you don't even actually have to go hunt for any drivers for your chipset drivers, USB drivers, or anything. It'll be like the whole shebang. So as for the first one here, once you power up your system, the first thing you want to do is press the F2 button, because the F2 button is what allows you to get into the BIOS so that we can actually make these changes so that your hard drive can get detected. So once you press the F2, this is a screen you're going to see. As you can see here, and if you're not at the boot option yet, if you landed on the advanced or security, just use your left and right arrow key on your keyboard and navigate yourself to the boot option. So the first thing you want to do here, this is what you see here. So the first thing you want to do here is go down to the secure boot. So once you highlight the secure boot, as you can see here on the screen, it's gonna be highlighted in white. So what you want to do is just hit enter, and then this is what by default it actually goes to enable. So what you want to do is you want to just move your up and down arrow key to the disabled option and press enter, and then confirm your changes. And as you can see here, this is going to be the first confirmation because you're disabling the secure boot, and then your BIOS is going to ask you if you want to make that change. So you just make sure that it's the yes is highlighted, and it will actually disable the secure boot, because this is one of the things you actually have to do to make your new hard drive detectable in the new Windows installation. So just confirm your change, say yes, and then get out of that. And then the next step you're going to do is what we're going to do is we're going to move your down arrow to the legacy boot option, because I'll explain why this needs to be done. By default it was disabled, so you want to move it to enabled, because by enabling the USB legacy device, by enabling that, it this gives your BIOS and your boot options to give it the ability to actually detect USB drives or flash drives, which I'm assuming that you already actually have a Windows 10 or Windows 11 installation, a bootable disk, on a flash drive already made. So and that's what you need to do. So make sure that you enable that and confirm the changes like you saw in the previous picture here, like what I was showing you here. Just make sure it's going to prompt you to confirm the change. Also, you do the same thing as for the legacy boot options. And then once you've done that, we're going to go down to the boot list option here. As you can see here, the EUFI is actually enabled. We need to disable that. So once you go down, move your up and down arrow key to the boot list option, press enter, and then by default it was actually set to UEFI. So what you want to do is you're going to use your up arrow key to point it at the legacy, and press enter and confirm the change by choosing yes, and then that should be good. So once you've done that, and that will be good there. So what we're gonna do is, I kind of lost track here for a sec. Okay, so once you've done that, everything, all of the changes that we needed to do was actually good. So what you want to do next is to go down to just you can actually just go up to the top where you're at boot, and then what you do is there for the next step. What you want to do is go to the USB storage device, so that I want to just make sure that if you guys don't want to have to push another key to detect your bootable device, this is actually what we're going to do. Is once you plug in your USB flash drive with the Windows 10 installation, what this will do is that we're going to choose a USB storage device to be the primary boot device once you reboot after exiting this menu, so that it'll automatically go through the Windows install on its own, so that you don't have to do any second guessing. So once you've done that, As you can see here, once you press enter from the previous menu, you hear when you choose USB storage device, press the enter button, and this is the next menu that you should see. So this is going to be the options here. So what I did was that with the USB storage device, it was actually, I think it was like fourth down. So to move it upwards, I'm pretty sure it was the F6 key to move things upwards. So by you tapping on F6 key, let's say if it was actually located where the CD, DVD, CD, CDRW drive was located, it will actually start moving it up to the top. And if you want to move it down, you would press the the F5 function key. So, but in this situation here, we want to move the USB storage device to the top of the list because by default it was actually way at the bottom. So just move it up to the top, and then you'd be good to go with that. Okay, so and to get out of that menu that you're in there, just press the escape key to go back to the main menu. And then once you've pressed escape, what you want to do is navigate yourself to the exit tab, and then just make sure you press enter, exit saving changes. Make sure that is actually highlighted. And once that's highlighted, it will actually automatically boot the system. And then it'll, make sure that before you exit this, make sure that you plug in your Windows 10, your bootable flash drive that you created. And then once you've done that, it will automatically boot into this. It'll take about, I would say, about close to a minute to get into this first primary screen. But as you can see here, this is pretty straightforward. And all you have to do is just click on next to get to the next screen. So this is your secondary screen. Pretty straightforward also. Just click on the install now button, and then it'll also bring you to this screen. And with this screen here, you have to accept the licensing terms with Microsoft by putting a check mark in this box at the bottom left here. And once you've done that, just click on the next button, and it will bring you to this screen afterwards. So in this area here, now for this specific model, all you have to do is choose the custom install, Windows only, the advanced, which is a second option here. When you selected that, this will be your menu that you will see next. So as you can see, there's only one partition here because it was a 500 gig hard drive, a solid state drive that my client wanted. And and her original drive that came with this crappy laptop was actually a 500 gig 2.5 inch mechanical drive. So for the price of what we paid for this was what, like, I think 40 something dollars with tax, Canadian dollars. So it was pretty cheap to get her a 500 gig, a Kingston SSD. So that's what she wanted. So all you have to do is to create a partition. All you have to do here is just press, highlight the item, and then as you can see here, it will show you your the amount that you're going to be able to get to use out of that hard drive. And then all you do is you click on apply, and then once you click on apply, you will see that there's two partitions. This one here will be a hidden one from Windows itself, and then just make sure that you highlight partition 2, which is the larger size, of course. And then once you've actually done that, all you have to do is just press next, and then you'll go through the Windows install here. So far here, the step by step is pretty straightforward, and I just wanted to make you guys just remember that you don't need any Dell installation CD or driver CDs or chipset driver CDs for this installation, because I will show you how to actually install all of your drivers, including for all of your USB ports, your micro SD ports, and everything that comes with the motherboard, and all your external plugins that you need to get working. Because it's with this model here, you don't need to even visit Dell's website to download the drivers at all. So just remember that when you're looking at this screen, once it starts to move down to the finishing up, this is what you're going to see here once it's done. This is one of the most important parts too, because once you click on it, it'll tell you to press any key to continue. So just press any key on your keyboard. But before you do that, just remember that once the screen goes blank after it restarts,